In 2018, Rwanda, through its tourism brand Visit Rwanda, got into a partnership with Arsenal Football Club. Now, in today's episode of Doing Business in Rwanda, we are going to examine that partnership between the sixth biggest football brand and Visit Rwanda. Arsenal superstar defender David Luiz became the latest player linked to the club to make the journey to Rwanda, describing it as an experience he will recommend to his peers and friends. The Arsenal star became the latest player connected to the club after former captain and legend Tony Adams to visit Rwanda. Arsenal has been ranked as the sixth biggest football brand in the world, accounting for over 125 million registered fans. Attendance of the club's matches averaged 59,000 fans per game, with the team also boasting of over 60 million fans following its various social media pages. Now, who wouldn't want to tap into such a market?
So Rwanda as a destination needed to position itself at an international, or rather a global level. And one of the ways that we decided to venture in is into sponsorship, and particularly sponsoring a club. And in our research, we had to go with, of course, the top 5 in terms of viewership, in terms of fans, etc. So that's how we decided to go with Arsenal, especially with the fact that is in terms of eyeballs, we have about 35 million and plus viewers when there is a game. So we decided to go that route, and that was basically the process we got.
It was amazing. It was it's a great deal. It's a very smart deal that will not only put our country on the map, but at the same time will increase the number of people coming and visiting Rwanda. I think it couldn't have come at a better time when we are opening much more resorts that we have seen, not only in Musanze, but at the same time, I'm thinking of Wilderness Safari in Akagera, one and only, that is coming up with a very nice resort in Nyungwe, but at the same time, they're opening a resort in Musanze as well, and Singita coming over. So it couldn't have come at a better time for us.
Arsenal is ranked as the sixth biggest football brand in the world, accounting for over 125 million registered fans. Attendance of the club's matches averaged 59,000 fans per game, with the team also boasting of over 60 million fans following its various social media pages. Now, who wouldn't want to tap into such a market?
I think it was a fantastic move by Rwanda. First of all, Arsenal is a big brand internationally, but also it's aligned with the direction Rwanda is taking as a tourism destination. Rwanda has been investing over the years in the direction of attracting everyone to come here and experience what Rwanda has to offer. So when it built the convention center, when it's invested in all the infrastructures, going to the different tourism sites, it was building up to this.
The world and the global platform to know about Rwanda as a destination. And I certainly feel this was the right timing to do it, especially with how we're positioning ourselves as an eco-luxury destination. We needed the world to know that. Most of our guests are international clients, and we certainly want them to know Rwanda is safe. We're top 10, number 5 safest countries in the world, about our conservation and what we're doing, the incredible job that we're doing in both Volcanoes National Park and Virunga National Park. So absolutely, it was the right time, the right messaging. Visit Rwanda. We certainly want international clients to visit Rwanda and be assured of it. So I'm super happy about it. I think it's fantastic to have a brand like Arsenal, which is a renowned brand, and for us to sort of be partnering with them is absolutely incredible.
But Rwanda isn't the only country to boost its image through a sporting brand. In fact, the marketing practice has been around for ages, having been used by the likes of Azerbaijan, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Chile, and Puerto Rico previously. All of those countries have gone on to be seen as tourism havens after what has gone on to be seen as successful marketing investments.
Sure. So one example is, most people perhaps outside Rwanda may look at Rwanda and say, but why would anybody spend this amount of money for a sleeve? Why can't they put it in their water or infrastructure or sanitation? There's this kind of poverty mindset that comes along with thinking about, developing and progressing countries. So what I loved about this is that Rwanda thought, let's think about promotion, advertising, investments in a different way, right? Let's think about it not as an advertising per se, but as marketing, as how do we create a brand for the country? And for a country to think of itself as a brand, not, this is usually relegated to corporations and private institutions, but for a country to think of itself as a brand and then act and execute accordingly, I think is really quite, it's really refreshing and different in Africa.
Right now, a huge demographic part of my clientele are tourists. So the more tourists that come into the country, I'm estimating that I will get more income from just my business alone. But then you need to look at the bigger picture and the interest in Rwanda. When everyone is now Googling Rwanda, they might be looking for gorillas, they might be looking for something else to do in Rwanda, but then my designs will show up as well. So you might have someone who has a store, let's say in Finland randomly, and says, I've been hearing a lot about Rwanda, what's going on in their fashion industry? And then next thing I know, I have an order from there as well. So even beyond just the money that comes in, like when tourists come to my store, the general interest in the country is very important because it will open and widen the horizons for so many other industries based in the country.
Through this Arsenal sponsorship deal, Rwanda targets to achieve a $1 billion return over the 3 years, and according to the Rwanda Development Board, that is responsible for attracting and retaining investments in Rwanda, the country has already seen a boost in traction with a 5% increase in visitors from the UK alone in the first year of the partnership.
So in the first year of the partnership, or after the first year of the partnership, overall, when you look at the value, or rather the return on engagement in terms of value, it is worth more than £30 million, which is actually more than what we've spent or what we've invested for the 3 years of partnership. So that's like the first great, the positive story about this partnership. The second positive story about the partnership is that before the deal, more than 70% of Arsenal fans didn't consider visiting Rwanda or did not consider Rwanda as a destination for tourism. After just the first year, half of those actually are considering Rwanda as a destination. So that's a very positive story in terms of exposing the brand to this amount of people. The other thing is that part of our partnership, we are able to actually host either first-team players and legends. And recently, we've hosted David Luiz, which you probably know as well that he's one of the most followed player in the league, actually as a football player. And in fact, he has done more than 50 million followers if you look at his Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So you can imagine to the amount of people that Visit Rwanda was exposed to. And we're also getting ambassadors from first-team players and even legends. During Kwitizina this year and the previous years, we hosted Arsenal legends, including Tony Adams, who has become, of course, an ambassador, or reinforced his ambassadorship.
This is a very good deal because Arsenal is a very popular team in England, in Europe, in Africa, but also in Asia. You have seen the tour of Arsenal in Asia. So everywhere Arsenal is playing, there are millions of people who are watching the game worldwide. And then we have even started seeing people visiting Rwanda online, at least. To 1.7 million people are now searching Rwanda, and I think it is a very good deal. And then we hope that we will double. This is our objective, to double by the end of the term in 2024 the revenues from tourism. You know that last year it was 400 million US dollars, and then we hope to have $800 million in 2024. And this deal, among other measures, initiatives we took, will help us in boosting our tourism industry, which is a very important for us, for our economy. So it's really a good deal that will be good for the economy of Rwanda, and that will be good for Rwandans themselves, because many Rwandans who are working in the tourism industry, and also by the only fact that the revenue, that the economic growth will be boosted by the deal, that will be good for ordinary Rwandans.
But the tourism sector isn't the only one benefiting from this partnership. Sports as well has seen an opportunity to grow.
So far, we've hosted a couple of coaching clinics. We had coaches from Arsenal coming and engaging our coaches and even engaging our youth. So the plan is to actually continue on that path and hopefully improve the level of soccer knowledge, both on the coaches and as well on the football, our youth actually playing football.
And it's not only for the UK, but across the world, because Arsenal has followers across the world. So that bodes very well for Rwanda. We'll be able to bring them into the country. For our flights to London, we fly as you said, we fly 3 times a week to London. Actually, for our December season, we'll be flying 4 times to London, because the loads during the peak season have shot through the roof already. So this is very exciting for us, and we are hoping to see the rise in passenger numbers coming into Rwanda grow even further in the coming year.
Tourism, sports development, exposure, brand visibility. The Arsenal-Rwanda deal is already bearing fruits. Sports stars are flocking to Rwanda not only because of its potential, but to also be part of its ever-growing tradition that now includes the biggest annual gorilla conservation naming ceremony known as Kwita Izina.
Is in terms of awards that we've received that were actually linked to the fact that we got into this partnership with Arsenal. So the first one is a recent one, which was in Australia, and it was along a travel fair called L'Experience in Australia, which Rwanda received an award as a top destination and awarded for its marketing strategy to partner with Arsenal.
It doesn't need a business genius to tell you that a $30 million US investment for a potential $1 billion US return over a period of 5 years is more than a good deal. That was it on today's Doing Business in Rwanda. You can tweet us at CNBC Africa, or you can tweet me directly at The Real Quizera.